Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with a series check-in. So I do these about once a year. I checked the last one was about a year ago, and these are my series I'm still reading, series I've finished, series I've ditched, all that good stuff. This year we've started a new process though, because I finally got my crap together and started a spreadsheet, because of course I did. I am, if nothing else, a fan of tracking things in a spreadsheet. It's fine. It's just what I do. It works for me. But I do want to say I have a couple stats because of this. So last year, in 2023 alone, I finished 11 series. So like, that feels like a win. That feels like a lot of progress for me personally. And I kind of broke down everything so far, even through 2024 now, that I've read and what I'm actively wanting to finish and read. Some of these will change obviously by the time we have another check. I'm kind of thinking about doing these every 6-ish months, because I think it would be interesting to see if I can like move the goal forward as I work on like reading through some of what I own, getting caught up on things. I feel like I need to move things forward. Like that's part of this, is like reading through things I own. So I finished 11 series in 2023. And that's a win, because like honestly, I'm real bad at remembering. So let's talk about, well, first of all, here's my spreadsheet. It's very basic. If you wanted to recreate this, you very much could. I literally just track the series name, the author, how many books I have left to read, how many books I have left to read. And then I have drop downs for if the series is finished, ongoing, or unknown, because sometimes you just don't know for sure if you're getting more in a series. And then the other drop down tracks where I'm at in the series. So finished, abandoned, etc. are the options there. And then I track what year I finished it. And then I have like extra ones where like I track for like these updates. So I know when they've been in an update before, but also I'm tracking like when the next release is, but that's not like the most up-to-date thing, because it's just not a priority for me. So I put that in as I think too, but it's not like a rush item for me to get to. All right, let's dive into some of the series I finished. I've kind of broken these down into categories of like duet, duologies, trilogies, and then anything larger than a trilogy. So let's talk about them. First up, we'll start with our duets and duologies. I did finish the Part of Your World duet by Abby Jimenez. I finished Part of Your World and Yours Truly, which are a 2-book duet series. They're kind of lightly interconnected, we'll call it. We meet our character in book 1. I finished that. I loved that series. I think these are great books. They're a wonderful option. And I think they're a great option just to like read a quick series by Abby. If you've not tried Abby yet, this is where I started with her personally, because I didn't have a lot of interest in some of her other titles previously released. So for me, this made the most sense. Then I also finished The Alahim Witches by Zoe Abrams. This was a Howl's Moving Castle inspired white shoes that for me as a series fell flat. I loved the first book, and I found the second book to be disappointing, to say the least. I really think it's a series that could have benefited from being 3 books potentially. It just needed a little more room to grow and shift and change the story, I think. Everything felt a little too rushed in the second book for me. All right, let's talk about trilogies. I did finish the Bright Falls trilogy by Ashley Herring Blake. This is her sapphic rom-com series. Loved it. These are so good. I do feel like these books, I think book 1, Delilah Green, is still my favorite. But I do feel like the series improves and grows as we continue. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's definitely worth a read if you like sapphic books and you like a rom-com. I feel like they give me the most rom-com vibe that I get for the most part from these kinds of books, which like is not common, let's be honest. It's just not a thing I often feel like is done spectacularly well. So I enjoyed these overall. Then I also finished The Kinsman Universe by Ilona Andrews. This is technically like 3 books and a little short story, but I think this is a fun sci-fi setup. I think you could just read the 3rd book in the series to see if you like the world before you loop back and read the first 2, but combined, all 3 books are like maybe 600 pages. So I really think it's an easy intro to Ilona Andrews, but again, I would start with the 3rd book, Fated Blades, first. It's still like a 4 or 5 star for me because it's Ilona Andrews and I am obsessed with their writing and I love their storytelling. Next we have The Dreamland Billionaires by Lauren Asher. This was my first dive through Lauren Asher, and I know the series, like, people love it or hate it. And I'm in the camp of like, these were just fun. I think book 1 was I just think all of the books overall were fun. I did a dedicated reading vlog to this, and I, at the end of the day, don't think they're doing anything groundbreaking by any means, but they're just a fun read. Like, they were enjoyable and I had a good time while I read them. So that's all I needed from them. I wasn't seeking like much more depth or anything like that from them. I do think they've made me like want to read more Lauren Asher's. It's just like a lot of her books are very long, and I have a deep frustration with the 500 plus page contemporary romances that we're getting right now. Next, I read Toxic Paradise by Marie Marivella, which I did finish in 2024. This is a trilogy dark romance around organized crime. There is cartel, there is mafia, there's all kinds of things. We have a couple different pairings. So like our first book is MF, our second book is Why Choose, our third book is also MF. This series for me is like one of my favorite dark romances I've read to date. I very easily can recommend it to people. I just have a good time. I had such a good time. It incorporated all the things I like in dark books. So like it had dark themes, but the dark themes made sense to the story. They didn't just feel forced in to make the book dark. I also felt like we had badass heroines, which is exactly what I want in these books. I don't love it when we have a just constant in distress love interest who like can't stand on their own. I need people who can stand on their own. I don't have time in my life always to read books that feel like they're just floundering through it all. So that's where I'm at right now. I really love this series. I'm excited to see what else she writes and check that out when it comes out at some point. Then for our series with more than 3 books, I did finish the Innkeeper's Chronicles with the Ilona Andrews read-along. Loved this series. I'm pumped to get more. I'm tempted to reread the last book because it came out in graphic audio now. Like, I really liked this series. This is one of the Ilona Andrews I could see myself revisiting as a comfort read. Then I did finish also The Edge by Ilona Andrews. This is another mix of paranormal situation happening more. I would consider the Innkeeper's Chronicle like sci-fi fantasy almost, and then The Edge is like more paranormal. It's the way they blend genres makes it hard, but I hope that makes sense to anyone who's read them. If you've not read them, it probably makes no sense. But The Edge is our series that kind of loosely ties into the Innkeeper Chronicles. It is one of their older series. I thought it was good. I think overall that series is a 4, whereas like Innkeeper's Hidden Legacy are 5 stars for me. I had a fun time though reading both of these and now being nearly caught up on Ilona Andrews. Then we have The Vicious Lost Boys by Nikki St. Croix. This book series, I loved the first like 3 books, and the final book for me was not great. I did not love that final book in this series, so the series as a whole is like a 4, but I could see myself rereading like the first book or 2. I would consider these books to be very expected in a weird way as you continue, and less expected to me as I first started them. Like the more I read the series, the more I was like, yeah, of course. But then the ending and setup for the final book just didn't work for me at all. Like I was not happy. So like maybe a 3.5 honestly for the whole series. That final book really tarnished my love of it, but I still love it. Like I love that series and I find that series really fun to read, but I also completely am like annoyed at it. So there's that. Then I did finish the Carolina Comets by Tegan Hunter. What a delight. What a treat. I adore this series. This is one of my favorite long hockey series. I felt like every book was so different and each character felt so different. I really enjoyed that element of it. And I think it's one of those things that just like, this is one of those ones that for me like is the epitome of what I want out of romance sometimes. And like, especially sports romance is like, there's stakes, there's drama, but I'm also just here having like a really fun time while I read it. And that's exactly what this gave me. So I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled with it. And I do think this is one of those series that I think if you want books that are really easy to read and you're just gonna have a good time, the Carolina Comets, go for it. Start wherever you want, because I did. I read them completely out of order, basically. Next, my DNF/Abandoned series. We only have 1 right now. There more will come, I'm sure, by the end of next year by our next check-in. And that is Assistant to the Villain. I read the first book. I hated it. I'm not reading the rest of that series. All right, let's talk about series I'm still reading. Lyndon Yu by Celeste B. Celeste. I really liked that first book and I do want to finish the rest of the series. These are new adulty football romances and I think they're really fun. I think they're pretty enjoyable to read. They're low stakes. I have to kind of be in the mood for new adult, which means it's going to take me a hot minute to read the rest of this, but I'm still excited to continue. Then we have Love Lines by Cara Bastone. This is her Audible original series, I believe. I think it's only on Audible original. They might have released them in ebook now, but I really liked the first one when I finally read it, so I do want to continue on and finish this series. Probably sooner than later because my Audible is going to be done in like a couple months. So I randomly cancel Audible and then like renew with deals. I never pay full price for it. I do also want to finish War of the Lost Hearts, which is the Carissa Broadbent series. I've read the first 2 in that trilogy, so I do need to pick up book 3 sooner than later before I forget, because it's a lot of books and I know myself and I would forget things. Next, we have Criminal Intentions by Cole McCade. I started this series last year. I read the first book, really liked it, and I do want to continue. I'm like half intimidated by it because it's so big, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm thinking to try and read 1 or 2 a month moving forward-ish here at some point. We'll see if I stick to that. I've tried to do that before. We'll see what happens, so I'm hopeful. Then I am also reading Bonded by Thorns. I'm in the middle of the 3rd book right now. I'm really enjoying it. I'm very slow at eyeball reading right now with this book for some reason. I wish I wasn't, but for whatever reason, I just like cannot read this book quicker than I am. So I will be done with it soon and caught up and just waiting for the next release in September. But I love this series. This is a Wide Shoes, Beauty and the Beast inspired, spring courts, fairies, very like fantasy, portal fantasy technically. And I think it just does a really good job with where it's going and how the story keeps expanding. I do like that. Next, we have the Zyvery Mates by Elizabeth Stevens. I read Taken to Viraxia last year. Loved it, and I need to finish the rest of the series. It is completed, and I'm hoping that is like something I can just kind of keep looking forward to finishing up here and fill a bit of a void from Ice Planet. I do need to read Ice Home still, but I'm just not ready to read Ice Home yet. But I am ready to like read another type of alien romance, so I'm hoping to finish that one up. Then we have the Jacksonville Rays. I do still need to read Pucking Wild. I am over halfway through my Pucking Around reread, but I need to sit down and read it more and highlight it. That'll probably happen in another soon. Like I'm gonna just clear my currently reading shelf, so I need to get through that. I love this series. I'm excited for the next release in the fall, I believe, or maybe summer. I can't remember. I looked at it and then I've already forgotten. We also have the Kate Daniels series. I have read through like book 4, but I'm starting a reread of it where I listen to all the graphic audios very soon. So those will just be in my weekly vlogs, I think. But I'm excited because like, of course I want more Alona Andrews in my life. Then we have A Deal with the Demon. This is the Katie Robert Demon series. I've read book 1 and I've read 2 of the like 4 books that are available in that series right now. So I really just need to read The Kraken Sacrifice and The Gargoyles Captive. And honestly, I feel like I probably can do that in the next 2 months or 3 months. Like before the next update, I should be caught up until we get Succubus's Prize. I enjoyed these. These are just different kinds of demon monster romances, and they're very fun. They're very, very fun. Next, we have the Holy Night series by Lee Jacquot. This is a novella series following holidays. I've read 6 out of the 9 that are out. So I really do just need to like force myself to read. I think Labor Day is the next one I have to read. So I just need to read that sooner than later. I really enjoy these. These are novellas based around different holidays with fun different mix-ups of tropes in the best ways. So I need to do that. Then we have Brutal Birthright. This is by Sophie Lark. I've started this series. I'm over halfway. I'm on like book 4. So I just need to sit down and finish it because I do want to read The Kingmakers, which are the children of the first book series. And I feel like I need to read the first series to do that. These are more mafia dark romances. So honestly, I should be reading them soon since I've been in the mood for those kinds of books. Then we have V.E. Schwab's Threads of Power series. I, of course, have already read A Darker Shade of Magic, and I need to dive into the new one, which is a, whatever it's called, Fragile Thread, whatever, this one. I need to read it, but I've been debating if I should reread the other 3 books before I dive into this one, and that just feels like a lot of work, so I'm probably just going to read it and go from there. Then we have the East Side Brewery. This is a series I feel like I've been sitting on this finale for frickin' ever, which is a me problem. I will admit it. It is a me problem because I don't want to be done. I don't want to say goodbye to the Rosa brothers, but I know I need to. So I think, honestly, probably not long after you watch this, I'm going to listen to the final audiobook and get through it. Next up, we have Murderbot, which, okay, so I've read a good chunk of Murderbot, but now we have graphic audios for it. So I think I'm going to circle back, reread all of it, and get through the series in graphic audio form because I think like 7 of them are available in graphic audio right now. Since they're so short, I feel like we're getting the graphic audios for them very quickly, which I super appreciate. But yeah, I want to do that. Next is a trilogy I have been needing to finish forever, and that's Phaedra's trilogy. I do want to finish the next 2 books in her trilogy this year, honestly, because I really enjoy that series, but I just for some reason never finished it. And I've done a reread now and still never finished it, so I just need to do that. Then we have If Shakespeare Were an Auntie. This is the Nisha Sharma series. I need to read Tastes Like Shakar. I think I said that right. I'm not sure though, but I need to read that soon. And I do have it from the library and I'm hoping to read it soon so that I'll be caught up until the next release. I really like this series. I think they're really fun. I don't really look at them as Shakespeare retellings, if that makes sense, but I am like kind of hoping to just enjoy them at the end of the day and have a fun time, and that's what they've been so far. Then we have Jessie Q. Sutanto's Auntie-series that I forgot I need to finish as well. I think there's 3 more books now, so I would like to finish that soon. Those are like weird, cozy, wild mysteries. I don't know. They're a good time. Same thing here for Tita Rosie's Kitchen. These are a Filipino author who writes cozy mysteries. I need to get caught up on this series. I love them. They're so fun. I just have not been in a cozy mystery mood. So hopefully this year is very soon I get caught up. And then last but not least, we have the Dust Walker Bride series. I soft DNF'd book 2. Shay finished it, said it was okay. So I think I need to just like try and read through book 2 sooner than later. And hopefully then just continue on with the series, because I did really like A Soul to Heal. And then if I don't, I'm just gonna like skip to book 3, I think, if I like really can't get through the second book. 7 of the 19 of those are completed series, so I feel like if I can get through a chunk of those this year, that'll feel really good, because I like being caught up to the point where I'm waiting more than I'm not for new releases on series. So like if I could get this number down to like 12 or less, I would be thrilled. But we'll see, because I still keep adding series, because I keep being like, oh yeah, there's that one or that one. So the list is always ongoing and shifting. Okay, and then the 5 I'm waiting for new releases on. We have The Wayward Children, of course. I read these every year. I love this series. Monstrous Matches by Lillian Lark. We got a date for the next book. I think it's this fall. So I'm excited for that. I'm always pretty much caught up on those, because I usually get an arc of them. Then we have The King of Sins by Anna Wong. I'm also caught up on this series. I'm waiting for the next release, King of Sloth, which is coming this fall probably, I think. Or April. I don't know. It's sooner than we think, but it's not like super duper close, I don't think. And then we have Dark Olympus by Katie Robert. I'm caught up on that. I actually have an arc for the next book, so if I decide to read it, I'm good to go, but also if I wait until it comes out, no big deal. And then finally, the Maple Hills series by Hannah Grace. These are just another one that I find to be very fun and silly, and I don't think a lot about. Then that's why I read them, because sometimes I just want a book that I can just go through and enjoy and not have to think too heavily about. So there's that. But yeah, that is all of the series. Oh my god, it was so much. This is not as long as I expected it to be, so that's good. But that's all the series I finished, am currently reading, and am currently waiting on new releases from. Let me know in the comments what series you're like dying for another book from, or what one you think I should prioritize for my list of like ones that are ongoing that I've not finished. Do you track your series? I'd also love to know that. Like, do you track it? Are you just flying by the seat of your pants? Could never be me. But it is me at the same time. Like, I'm tracking it, but I'm also just like, oh my god, there's a new book of that series. So I kind of do both. Let me know in the comments. If you don't want to do any of those things, you can leave me a flower emoji of your choice, because it is, I'm recording this on Valentine's Day, so it's the day after. Do that, or candy, because I'm gonna go buy some clearance candy in a bit. So yeah, you can do that in the comments. I will have links to all these series for you down below, links to me, my friend, anywhere on the internet. And I will talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This